Go.
Hello, guys. Oh, hello, guys, and welcome to Eye on the Storm. I am Gilly Weed, and we are here to talk all about Heroes of the Storm, Blizzard's new hero brawler that is currently in closed beta. Of course, I'm Gilly Weed, and I stream it a lot.
Go.
Hello, guys. Oh, hello,
I've
guys,
got
and
the
welcome.
delay,
And of course, I have Anna here as well. She's my co-host. Hello, Anna.
Hi. How's it going? I'm Anna. You may know me from esports all over the place. I stream as well and heavily involved with Misscliks here. And we also have an illustrious guest with us today.
Who?
From the blessed halls of Blizzard, we are joined by Kent-Erik Hagman. Who are you?
Hi.
What do you do, Kent-Erik?
So I'm a hero designer on Heroes of the Storm. I'm working primarily on new heroes for the game that will come out many, many months from now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Special.
Can't talk about them.
You've got special knowledge in your brain.
Special
Well,
Blizzard
we're
knowledge.
ready to pick your brain for sure on the newest hero that came out this week, Sylvanas, as well as some of the changes that we saw for other heroes, and the new Tomb of the Spider Queen battleground as well.
Yeah, it's a good patch.
Guys, if you aren't familiar with this show, just a really quick explanation of WTF Am I Watching. This is a Heroes of the Storm talk show. We have guests from all over the community come on and talk to us about Heroes of the Storm. We will do some spotlights on things like different heroes, changes for the week, community news, strategy. We will also play the game at the end of the show and have time for you to ask questions. We'll show you some cool stuff we've found in and around the community. And if you have anything you'd like to tell us during the course of the show, just tweet at us with the hashtag StormShow. We'll try to pay attention to that. But there is so much to talk about this week that we need to just get right into our community discussion, which is patch week. Where should we start, Gilly?
Woo!
Why don't we start with Sylvanas herself, the
Yes.
lady. Let's see where I've got it right
The
here.
Banshee Queen.
Yes.
You disgusted me.
Why? I love it. So we've got Sylvanas. She's a brand new hero. She was launched this week with the patch, and she's got really interesting hero trait, as well as some really cool abilities, a heroic that people are really loving as well. So why don't you tell us
Wailing Arrow?
Yeah, Wailing Arrow. That'd be the one.
Or no, wait, Possession. I can't tell.
When you tell us about maybe the design a little bit of capturing
Yeah.
the Sylvanas.
So John Hodgson, one of our other hero designers on the team, actually did the design on Sylvanas. And I know when he started, he was really wanting, I mean, he and I are both huge hardcore Warcraft 3 fans. And so I know, I remember, because we work in these heroes so far in advance. Like I remember months ago when he was doing another playthrough of Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, just to get back in the mindset of, who was the Sylvanas. And I remember he took a bunch of screenshots and whatnot. We really wanted to capture like this, like she's kind of like almost like an underhanded fighter. We really wanted to capture that essence into some of the other traits and abilities that appeared in Warcraft 3. We really wanted to differentiate her away from Vala and Tyrande, both who were already kind of filling that silhouette of the archer. And so we wanted to kind of push her a little bit away from that. So we decided let's try a specialist route. I mean, she's a leader of the Forsaken. We think we can kind of hook onto that fantasy. And through a bunch of iteration and failed abilities, we stumbled upon Black Arrows as a trait, where all the damage she'd do would just disable mercs. And at the time, originally, we were doing like hero summons. We eventually went back on that one. That one was kind of crazy. Like, oh, hi, Water Elemental, you're shut down. And I was like, okay, that's a little too hard countering. Let's pull back just a little. And so we kind of built around that. And then also the Q ability, Withering Fire. Internally, it was like rapid fire for like months. So I was like, oh, Withering Fire, Withering Fire. And so we kind of built around there, and then found other cool ways to really hit up the various vibes on her.
I'm just madly in love with her. I can't stop playing her. And
she's a boatload of fun to play, that's for sure.
yeah, I mean, and it seems like everybody's really getting a kick out of playing her. Like I haven't heard too many people that are feeling like Sylvanas doesn't really fit their play style or anything like that. I mean, I don't know, Gilly, you said that there were some things that you felt like didn't really fit for you.
How could she not fit anybody's play style?
I know, that's kind of what I was feeling.
I don't know. So far, it's just been she's been one that I've been struggling with and playing.
That's totally fair. I mean, there's certain heroes that just aren't going to click for some people.
That's totally
that's what I
true.
think too.
And it's awkward because I have to work on them, make them better. But it's like, okay, I need to understand.
Yeah. That, like, for example, when Arthas was the big deal, I played so much Arthas just because he was so good, but it never felt like it clicked with me. Whereas I picked up Sylvanas and it was like a nice glove, or like I don't know, it just like perfect. It felt so good. I actually felt a little guilty because someone was in my stream and they were like, tossing Kerrigan aside so soon, Anna, talking about how much you love Sylvanas. But really, I mean, Kerrigan never fit my play style really either, so
I mean, I think she's very cool and I love her abilities, but yeah, it's definitely something. But there were a lot of changes for heroes that made me really happy and have actually brought me some new people to play as well. And I'm still working on playing Sylvanas. Maybe I'll turn a corner and something will click for me for her.
Oh, we'll see. You gotta just give it time, right?
Right, exactly.
Should we really quickly just explain her abilities if people haven't even looked at her or, played her at all yet? Just really, really quickly go through her abilities?
We could, but we're also going to have somebody playing her tonight as well on the play session. So I think we could maybe just wait and do that later on too.
Right. You're so smart, Gilly. This is why I need you. All right, then what should we talk about next?
Why don't we move on to the new battleground?
Long time in the making.
Yeah?
Yeah, the battlegrounds take us a while to produce.
Well, I would assume there's got to be so much that goes into designing it.
There's a ton of art in addition to all the design work, right?
So this is Tomb of the Spider Queen, and it's a small map. It's still 3 lanes. It's definitely a smaller map. And so push heavy stuff can really, really be very effective here. And the objectives of the map is that you kill some of the enemy minions and heroes, and they'll drop gems that you collect, and then you turn them in to the Spider Queen. And once you turn in enough, sort of like Blackheart's Bay, then she will summon web weavers, which will push down all 3 lanes. And if you die, you'll drop your gems, but the other team can't pick them up, but they will go away after a short amount of time. So your team has to try to pick them up. But of course, if the enemy team members are smart, they're going to be standing right on top of them saying, you can't pick these up. And so it's a very frustrating battle sometimes.
Gem denial.
What's your favorite thing about this map, Kent-Erik?
I like, I'm going to totally plagiarize my boss, Dustin, but he called it the knife fight in the closet. That is totally this map. Like the lanes are just right on top of each other. Or like, what we, the guy who made it was John DeSager, one of our battleground designers. He's like, I really want to make a map where you really care about laning. And then he's like, I also really want to mash the lanes together. Let's just see what happens. And so we actually, like years ago, back when the game was under a different name, tried another similar thing. Didn't work as well. John's really got it nailed down here. But I love just like the constant like threat. Like you are always like, is someone above me? Someone below me? Like who's ganking me? I'm gonna get ganked, aren't I? I think it's also like because you have the 2 turn-in points and the way the gems work in this map, it really stretches your map strategic skill in terms of like being able to read the map and understand who should be and who should be where. Especially with the 2 turn-in points, I love that mechanic. I love how it adds a nice wrinkle that to make it very different from Blackheart's Bay, but to also play strategically really different. And it favors certain heroes that Blackheart's disfavors. So.
I think that I tend toward maps where there's always an objective available. Like I don't have to wait for a cycle. I really like those maps where the action is ongoing and where you have to kind of choose, and you can make different play styles or strategies based on, I'm going to spend more time doing the objective, or I'm going to spend more time doing typical map mechanics like laning or mercenaries or things like that. So I've only gotten to play this map a couple times, but that's what I really liked about it, is the feeling of like everything is going on at once and I get to choose what I'm going to do while everything is going on.
Yeah.
The thing I like most about this map is that there are secret like corridors and gates, and I think that that's really cool as well. But I agree, there's always the strategy I really like about it too is like not pushing a lane for once. A lot of times you'll just go in and be like, I'm just going to take out this mob of minions and then take off and go to a different lane or go merc or whatever. You have to be more strategic about when you take minion waves, because if you take them, especially early on, too close to their to their gates and towers, then you might not be able to pick up the gems, or you're going to take tower damage when you do so, or you're going to make it so it's easy for them to gank you while doing so. So I think that's a really cool element, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really makes the mercs play differently in this map. And we actually, I think this is like almost the fewest mercs we have on any map. So
yeah, just 2 bruiser camps, 1 siege at bottom, which I think is cool, just the 1 siege, because typically those are the most valued ones. And then, of course, the boss on top, and it's the boss that we see from Sky Temple as well.
Yeah, and I actually was going to mention, you mentioned that the art is a huge part of this map that was... you know, something that was really exciting for you guys. And we know this is the same, it comes from the same family as the Sky Temple map, right?
Right. It's the same universe. I don't know if we're officially calling it Luxoria or that's just our internal name, but yeah, that same kind of Egyptian desert themed. And the artist really wanted to do like an opulent tomb. And we're like, okay. And then they killed it, right?
Yeah, it does.
There was a Luxoria mount or skin or bundle, something like that was in shop that was officially called Luxoria bundle. Cool. So I think you're safe.
Yeah, they'll come down here and be like, hey, we're not using that name.
You're safe. We've got protection for you. It's fine. It's good. We're good.
So I know every map, when you guys go into designing it, the considerations are, you know, how do we make this fun and exciting, action-packed, and then also balanced? And a lot of those balance concerns are, you know, how does the timing happen? Can we accidentally favor one team more than the other? If one team gets ahead, is there enough time for the other team to overtake them? So what were some of the concerns with this map that you guys already addressed, and what do you predict that might be some of the things we'll see evolve?
I think... So early on, we had to deal with just the constant ganking and really kind of like make sure I didn't overly favor hero fighty heroes, and that you know, our specialists still had a significant role in this map. And then so I think we did some small tweaks here and there. I'm sorry, this was like months and months ago.
I know you're already working on things we'll be talking about next year, I'm sure.
Like that. Yeah. I have good job security. It's really nice. But we had to fiddle with the gym mechanic for a while to get that feeling exactly right. It's a very conscious decision that the mercs don't actually carry any gems. You know, going back to his original design goal, which is like, I want you to care about the minions in the lane. And so that was part of that as well. I think one of the early things we struggled with is that there was no scaling cost on the gem turn-ins for subsequent turn-ins, and I think the egg was like available right when the event ended, and so. We added a scaling cost like we do on Black Hearts, and we put a little bit of buffer time there. We didn't want to make it too big because we found that sometimes if you're the losing team and the event just ended and you got like a nice team kill, if that egg took like a minute to respawn, you lost your advantage. Like, oh, now we can't turn in. Now we're even more behind. And so we had to fiddle with that, and we'll be keeping an eye on that, especially, I mean, because as soon as we push this out to you guys, we get like, I don't know, on the order of like 1 million times the amount of data points that we have from our business like this, right? And plus, I can't wait. And now we have Team League, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait to see what the top ranked teams are doing on this map, and I'm sure they're gonna break a map. And maybe it's Tatskua, Team of the Spider Queen, or maybe they break Blackheart's Bay, or they break another map. But it's something we'll be keeping an eye on, and very willing to fix is. But maps are so difficult for us to tune right. We spend a lot of time trying to break maps and make sure we cover any like weird what's the word I want to use, like bad strategies,
outliers.
And by bad I don't mean like they're not good. I mean as in like they're toxic to the game, in terms of like, we don't want to promote that kind of gameplay. And so this one took a little bit while to get, because of the nature of piling up gyms and also the turn-in leading to a 3-lane push.
Yeah, I think overall I'm pleasantly surprised with how unbroken the maps have been. I mean, we do have like snowballing and stuff, but to me the concept of balancing a map is so monumental that the fact that the changes have been fairly minor to me feels. So I tip my hat to you guys.
Thank you. It's tough because like you look at an event and you say like let's take Team of the Spider Queen. Okay, what should the win percentage be for a team that gets the first turn-in? Like in an ideal world, you have your magic wand. You don't want it to be 50% because that means great. There's no advantage for turning in first, then don't bother with the mechanic, right? You actually want it to be slightly higher than 50%. but you don't want it to be over like 80 or 90% because then it's clearly way too snowbally. So you have to find this, nice, narrow, comfortable range where like, hey, first curse, first Dragon Knight, first, ship, first Tomb of the Spider Queen turn in. We want it to be within, a comfortable range. We haven't even like nailed down what that range is yet, but we're keeping an eye on all the maps, and I can't believe it's working out as well as it is. I thought it was going to be more disastrous. But woo, we did it. So, we want to celebrate, but
well, I wanted
now
to...
Team League's here, and especially as the beta invites go out more and more, I think we'll get much better data.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I know we have tons to talk about, so I'm sorry that I'm harping on this, but I'm really excited about the Spider Queen. Do you know about how often we should expect to see new maps coming out in the future? Like once things kind of even out, are we going to see new maps coming out kind of monthly, or are we going to see a lot come out and then no more come out once the whole game is released? Or is there anything you can say about that?
I don't know what I can say.
Okay.
I can say that our map designers do have work in front of them, and
So
I
we'll
think
have some
casually
more.
mention that, and I hope Siobhan doesn't come out here and be like, "Oh, you should have said that." So we do have. I know I can say this at BlizzCon. We unveiled. We have a Diablo themed map.
Yeah,
the Heaven and Hell one. Oh my gosh.
I don't want to distract too much from today's patch because that's in the future. But we do have more maps coming. They take a while. We're learning that process. We think there's I'm not gonna say we think. Kent-Erik personally think, this is my personal opinion, not that of Blizzard Entertainment. I personally think there's still plenty of space to be explored in this genre in terms of like what we can do with maps and what are the cool ways we can explore. There's so much untapped potential here for various mechanics and layouts. And so I can't wait for the future myself. I just can't talk about it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think that this is just my personal thing, and you don't have to say, a word. You can straight face it, poker face, whatever. But I think it'd be really cool eventually if we see sort of a league like how StarCraft does competitive, and there's like map pools to do sort of map pools as well. I think that would be really neat, and that way it's not sort of overwhelming if you've got 20-some maps and new players into.
Yeah. I know I've been asked that a few other times from other interviews, but like it is something we're feeling out the boundaries of. We want to know how many maps is 2 maps. No one else has really done this before, and so we're not going to pretend to know the magic. Oh, that's how many maps, because it's something that's really hard to test internally. Like we can't, test. All right, imagine you're home.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be here for the next 3 hours, and you're gonna play. Does that feel overwhelming? Like a lot of other things did. I don't know. And so we're gonna keep adding them until like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And then we'll probably do some kind of a rotation system. We're still ironing out the details. I will not say we're going to do anything because we don't know yet, and we're still trying to figure out how exactly do we want to pull these in and out. And who knows what we'll do, but I think we have some cool ideas.
Cool. We have faith. Don't worry. We don't need to hear it yet.
Okay.
Well, one thing that
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, should we keep going on with the patch notes? I think the next the next thing we wanted to talk about was the extra gold. Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
Who doesn't like free money?
I know all of us kind of turned on our client and we're like, I'm rich! Yay!
The minute that announcement was made, I bought a money pig. So and I have money now again. It's glorious. But yeah, I guess the most to say on this, guys, is that Blizzard has decided that we deserve more money for the work that we're putting in. So now
actually, everyone will get this gold, right? Because it's added through the level up system. I don't think there's any gold we gave out for free, right? It was all like, oh, you reached this level.
Yeah, it was retroactively added to our account.
You can tell how plugged in I am to those decisions.
Well, there's new rewards are added at player level 10. You get a 7-day stim pack. You get 2,000 gold each at player levels 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40, which is retroactively given to you if you didn't or if you've already been there. And then, of course, hero levels have now been increased to up to 20. Before it was up to 10. So you get 12.
Play my Masters get murky finally.
Right? So I really enjoy that because I felt like I couldn't play people or heroes I really enjoyed in Quick Match. The Hero League was fine, but in Quick Match, I was like, I need to be playing somebody I don't have leveled. So now you can get more gold both at levels 15 and 20, and it's significant. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice because I wanted Sylvanas, and so I was like, oh, should I buy her with gold? I don't know. And then it was like, I'm rich. I'll buy
I was
her with
wondering,
gold.
like, how many people are going to buy Sylvanas just because like a bunch of gold fell into their laps?
I feel like a lot more people are going to own Sylvanas than other heroes just because of that. Because it was like, oh, I have tons of money. So that was nice. We appreciate that. And then, of course, the big announcement that we've all been waiting for a long time is Team League. Yay! I immediately grabbed a couple of the team names that I wanted. I didn't realize that you could like scoop a team name. Yeah, you could squat.
Yeah.
I was really worried.
Unfortunately, some pro teams got theirs stolen.
Really?
Which kind of sucks. Yeah, but I'm sure that'll get worked out eventually.
Yeah, I would think so. It'll be interesting to see whether we see like clans and some of that other StarCraft style stuff coming up. I'm really excited about Team League. I like that you can have a roster of so many people and all of that. I'm still really hoping that we're going to see some options for ranking in different ways than just the Hearthstone model, more like a StarCraft model. I'm really hoping that might be somewhere in the future. So hint, hint, Kent-Erik. But, you know, I'm sure you can't say anything about that.
What are you talking to me?
Yeah. But I am really excited about Team League, but I'm still like keeping my fingers crossed because I would really like there to be a less grindy style ranking system as well, like alongside.
Do you think we've mentioned that for Team League at above rank 1 we will have like a Grandmasters list, and so that will be like hardcore ladder, much like you see in that card game that you mentioned.
Cool.
That there will be like a legend style Grandmaster rank of like these are the top teams, and when they win and lose, their numbers go up and down.
That's cool.
I think part of the reason for that is that we really want to push Team League. We think Team League is the way this game is meant to be played. We love Hero League. We love what it supplies, but like we believe in Harvey Dent and Team League. Right? That's kind of where we're putting eggs in our basket.
How involved were you on a lot of the Team League decisions? Like how many people are in a game? Not at all. Okay.
I think I was a member of the development team who could hand us feedback.
Nice. There you go.
We acknowledge receipt of your feedback. Okay, thank you.
Well, because I was interested in Gilly, I don't know, you can have 3 teams, and as far as I could tell, you can't have any more than that, right?
Nope.
I don't think so.
And you can have 9 people on each team?
Yeah.
On each roster?
9, so you can't like have 2 people or 5 playing at the same time. Kind of like, what are they called? Arena teams in World of Warcraft.
Right. So, Gilly, do you feel like that's enough?
I have not decided yet.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's only been a couple days.
I think for the most part, maybe I think people are saying no, but I don't really know yet. And I feel like we kind of come at it from different from like just a casual Heroes player.
Right.
Because we are streamers. And this is like my job, so I don't really know. I do know that I need more friends.
Yes.
That's the thing that I really need, the ability to have more friends, but I haven't decided yet if 3 is...
So we really need to make a friend finder for you. That's
I have too many friends. I need, that I did say that wrong. It just makes me seem sad. I mean, I need more ability to add friend slots. Yeah.
We all need that so badly. I do know that we are still talking about and wanting to add like a clan system, and I think that will help with the need of multiple teams. That I don't know if like perhaps 3 is not enough competitive teams, and we do need more. But if you have like a large pool of friends you play with, perhaps more of your casual play will happen in the clan system, and the Team League will be more for like we're taking on CLG, like that, that kind of mode. And
that makes a lot of sense
we'll
to
state
me.
The needs. I think we'll find out more once we actually get that hand wavy clan system. I just like in there.
I like this. It's like the Big Lebowski. Like we're gonna kill the poor woman.
And like I just promised 20 guys worth of like 100 man hours each. Like no problem. Yeah.
No, I think that makes a ton of sense because I was sitting there thinking about it and like Gilly said, I think if I'm, say, my brother who has access, plays once in a while, only knows about, a total of 8 people who have keys right now, so that totally makes sense on a totally different level for him. But I was thinking about that, like I have probably a group of maybe 20 or 30 people that I play with very regularly, and I play with some of them once a month, some of them every day, you know, that kind of stuff. So I think you're totally right, though, that I would never play with a specific team of those people all the time because it's so subject to change. But a clan would absolutely be a more reasonable way to...
We could definitely let multiple clans queue at the same time. It's just
Yeah.
multiple teams, you have to watch the rating and whatnot.
And it does kind of, what it did was incentivize me to like set up a team practice, you know, be like, oh, we're going to meet at this time every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I wish I had that.
Yeah. So that was, I thought that was really cool because it gives me and I owned the team name, you know, so it was like my roster and I could like audition people and be like, if you want to be on the team, you have to commit to such and such, you know, so that, I thought that was really cool. Even if, you know, I don't end up having as much power as I think I do over there, but, you know.
It's the power trip. You just need to feel it.
Yeah. It made me feel like, you know, I need to take this seriously.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Yeah. I'm pumped about Team League. I actually have not played a Team League game yet, although one of the teams that I'm on has already started ranking up. So yay, go you guys. Sometime I'll play with you guys.
Go Gilly team.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually haven't either. I just played with the rosters and stole the team names I wanted. And, you know, all that.
Oh, now we know Anna's.
Like the best feature with the first come, first serve stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, first come, first serve. I'm really excited about. Did we talk about that yet?
Nice.
No, we didn't talk about that. Go ahead.
We want Illidan.
Yeah.
Who's gonna play him? Okay, yeah, just grab him.
Yeah, or you can wait and say, okay, you can play Illidan, but oh crap, actually you need to play this person. You're better at this person, so I'll play Illidan.
Pick that hero now before they like. It takes out all like a lot of the nonsense in terms of like, oh shoot, like because before when I'd run Hero League with my 5-stack, it'd be like, we ended up in this order. Oh, that's a little less than ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, what's the team strategy we want to execute? Okay, well, what heroes do we need to lock down or prevent them from getting? Or oh, they picked that. Let's swap. You know, it was really interesting. I really like it.
That's so awesome. I was really excited about that too.
Shout out to Alex's son who did that one for us.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really stoked about that as well. I had confidence that was coming down the line, so good to see. And then I guess, I mean, there's so much, we could spend a whole show talking about Team League, but let's keep moving down the path.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We're going to get into the changes now for Battlegrounds talents and hero changes. Okay. We do have some questions, a couple, but let's save them for when we're doing the play session and we'll ask them as we go. Yeah.
You can all totally bombard me during the middle of the game.
Awesome. That's always the best time to try to have a conversation is mid-game.
Hey, I gave an interview once while having to play with Vikings. That was... that was an experience.
All right, we'll go into the changes, and then we'll just kind of read things off. Feel free to just chime in or jump in if there's any specific thing you're really wanting to talk about. But we'll start with battleground changes, guys. There's a few. For Haunted Mines, the power difference between lane golems was reduced in situations where there is a large skull count disparity. And then also the first round golems also have their health reduced. So kind of just making it so you can't really go and win the game, especially off the first golem, and just making it a little less snowbally, as we would call it.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to do there. And just also, we felt like when you 100 to 0, that was happening pretty frequently. We felt like it was just too much of a power gap between the two. And so that was our balance designers who also do live design. They were kind of trying to just smooth out the curve a little bit, make the play experience better based on the data that we were getting back from all the players.
Yeah, I've not heard one dissenting opinion on that. Everyone's really happy about that.
Yeah.
And then Garden of Terror, the overgrowth ability, which everyone calls the plant pot, is actually a little bit better.
Yeah, we've been running into longer game lengths on Garden of Terror, I believe, than our other maps, and so that's our first stab at trying to help it make it a little better. I think we also reduced the damage it does to minions and mercenaries. It was just wiping out waves, and so this may be the fix. This may not. That's the thing with map design. We think we put bullets in the gun. We don't know if any of them are silver. Almost none of them ever are. And then every now and then, like, oh, that was it. That was the last one. So we'll see if this is it, and if it's not, well, there's always next patch.
I give special applause to thinking about game length, especially. I think one of my favorite things
we're very sensitive to that.
Yeah, and I'm so
that's
glad.
A very core value on our team is like we do not want long games. That was not what Heroes of the Storm was meant to be. Like as soon as heroes start, like we really want the game to end when you start hitting level 20. Like that's why we throw out so much power at that level. Like no, go break the game,
kill each other. Yeah.
Now it's 26, and you've been breaking the game for 6 minutes or like 8 minutes now. And it's like, oh, this is not as fun anymore. Like, yeah, we know. Just get the game over with so we can get to the next game.
I'm into that. I love the short game length of this game.
Yeah, I am in agreement there. And I think it also just lends to people also making sure they focus down the plant pot a lot more too, which is also cool. It kind of changes the gameplay just slightly to, kind of puts like a counter on the game a little bit, which is good. And then on Sky Temple, the temple damage was reduced by 10%, something that I think a lot of us saw coming a little bit, but that's also cool to see.
Had more to do with the fact that we reduced the health of all forts. The board by 10%. And I'm sure some people are shaking their head like, why did you guys do that? That seems weird. We adjusted the power curve of heroes and when they level up. And so in terms of like how much hero power had, if you had to graph it out over time, we adjusted a little bit. So that the early levels would have a little bit more time in them because we felt like you were just blowing through 1 through 7 like that. And so we did some adjustments. And so as a result, we're like, okay, if heroes are going to be a little bit weaker for the most part, we need to weaken down the forts. And so Sky Temple being a direct nuke on the things, we're like, okay, let's just... And plus, Sky Temple could use a little bit of it. That was an easy change for us to do.
Cool.
I think a lot of people have liked the idea of reducing the gate, tower, town hall, and wall health by 10% on all battlegrounds, because it also kind of helps with making the sort of like lane pushers a little more viable too.
Makes them a little bit stronger. It also drives down our game length a little bit.
Yeah.
In most cases. I don't think it'll ever make the games last longer.
No.
Good.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. Actually, I can think of a weird case where it would, but we won't go into that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the perils of map design. So.
Anna, do you want to read talent changes?
Sure. I'm really happy that you're reading these because I haven't studied them as in depth as I wanted to.
I can read them. I can do it. It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead because I'm learning from you right now. Had a busy week at work.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So for talent changes, just a few. There's a new level 20 talent I am super pumped about, Arcane Power. It's currently only available in Jaina, but I like that it's actually one of those standard ones. So it's possible, like, hey, we might be seeing this in the future on some more.
The wavy hands again.
It's too good of a talent to only put on Jaina. So.
Right. It's really cool. Basically,
heroes out there. Oh wait, we only have one.
For now.
Curious.
That was a terrible wink, guys. Please, nobody screenshot that. You activate the arcane power. It's level 20 to gain 400 mana and then 15% ability power for 5 seconds. So it's basically like getting stacks of gathering power, but just instantly when you activate it. And then it's on a 60-second cooldown. That plus changes that we're going to talk about on Jaina make me such a Jaina fan now.
Really?
I'm so happy about Jaina.
Yes.
Yeah. So any thoughts about that talent at all?
I mean, it was. There was. I'm not even gonna reference the talent that used to be there. I am not on speaking terms with that talent. How did I get?
You guys are giving each other the silent treatment right now.
Yes, yeah. It won't even get its name mentioned. That's all it was. But we're like, when we brought in the new level 20 generics, which was, I think, 2 patches ago, or was the last patch? I can't remember. It was all from
sometime soon. Yeah.
And so we needed one for mages, basically. And we're like, oh, we got to pull one in there. So that's basically all that is.
Love it.
Loving it. Also, healing ward duration was increased, but the heal amount was reduced.
Yes.
So thoughts on that healing one?
Same total heal. Takes more time, though. We wanted to add in more counterplay for the enemy team to be able to take it out. We also wanted to just reduce its power in a soft way. And so it's something we're just keeping an eye on. We see a lot of supports taking healing ward. We see a lot of double healing wards. Just as a shout out to all of you watching the show right now, just so you know, 2 healing wards will not stack their healing. You want to time them out separate from each other.
Yeah.
Pro tips.
Yes, I see. I still see that in some of my games. I'm like, we're in like a high of the heroes league, and you're still okay. Thanks. Yeah. Kill them both.
So, do you think that that's going to change when in an engagement someone would cast a healing ward? Do you think they're going to wait more till like, oh, the enemy team's on the retreat, now we're going to heal? Or do you think they're still going to cast it kind of like right in the middle of the battle, like a last-ditch effort? Or
I would hope that they're smart enough to put it a little bit behind their front line.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually doesn't really change much of in terms of the decision-making about using the healing ward. You might be more inclined to use it for passive events like taking a Grave Golem. The goal wasn't really to change that. It was really to help out the team against that healing ward, because we felt like it's just a little bit too strong.
Okay.
And we're gonna keep an eye on it. We got top men on it.
Top men.
I'm gonna threaten to name them next time. Our balance designers.
I think at the very least, it's going to make people a lot more focus a lot more, at least, on where they're putting it and when they're using it in a fight as well.
Yeah.
Because not putting it out where it's just easy to sort of hit with one auto attack, keeping it sort of back behind where you really kind of have to go out of position to hit it. People were doing that before, but I think it'll make it even more so. Let's see, other ones. Ice block duration was reduced and scouting drone was buffed.
I didn't even know about the ice block one. I found out about that one today. We reduced it. I didn't know we did that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The cooldown was reduced.
Oh, the cooldown reduced? That makes more sense.
I forgot a word there. I accidentally word. The cooldown was reduced slightly from 80 to 60.
And I believed you.
Sorry. And then scouting drone.
Yeah. They keep trying to throw things at scouting drone to make it more viable. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I have my own personal thoughts that belong to me. I probably shouldn't share them.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, here's
I think it's pretty good, actually. I will say this. Scouting drone can be good in the right situation, especially for scouting those bushes and whatnot. I think we'll see a little bit more of it.
Yeah. The cooldown is vastly reduced from 60 to 45 seconds. So you can use it quite a bit, and you get 2 charges of it.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Very powerful. Right
before we were doing this show, just really fast, Anna was like, "Who takes scouting drone?" I was like, "Nobody."
I was trying to think. Okay, like which heroes do we think about when we think about healing drone? So that's what I meant. But I was like, "Who takes it?" And she was like, "No one."
Yeah.
I think it's like on Raynor. It's like,
oh,
ETC has it.
What? No, I think it's just Raynor.
Yeah, it's like Raynor, ETC, and maybe Tychus. Did we give it? I can't remember who else has it. Like,
it goes to show how much.
We still have more work to do on the game. We are not done.
Well, hashtag beta.
Hashtag beta.
Well, speaking of heroes, there are some hero changes. There are a ton of them, but there are some that are particularly notable. Gilly, which ones should we start with? The particularly notable ones?
Yeah, we'll go through these fast. Abathur, both of his heroics were buffed, and his Toxic Nest talents were buffed too. Yeah, basically.
That was a simple, we saw the numbers, and our balance guys were like, "Oh, we know what to do here." So
good.
Yeah, it's just pretty much street buffs. The Ultimate Evolution still doesn't have the heroic, but did have its power increased.
Correct. I apologize to Abathur players out there. We will not be bringing that back.
Just so you know now.
Yeah.
Never coming back.
I had a lot of technical hurdles in addition to design challenge. Every time we design a new hero, we're like, all right, here's the R1 and R2 for the pitch. Okay, what happens if Abathur gets it too? Okay, let me read it. And it's like, you know what, this is... Nah, the whole fantasy of the ability was to become another hero, wasn't to become an R stick, and so we wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. I think this is, with this new buff, hits it a lot better. It's like you can pick up a Vala and you now, auto tagging people like crazy, or you're gonna nuke people like crazy with that Jaina clone, and so I think that's gonna speak to the fantasy a lot better than being an R stick did.
Yeah, and the monstrosity also just doesn't have a duration timer anymore. So now he stays up until he's actually just killed by something.
Yeah,
I like that.
I've been seeing a lot more monstrosities in my games ever since, and it's been pretty cool to see it.
Cool.
There's a lot you can do with monstrosity. It's really fun to play. And I'm happy to see more Abathurs.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people are happy that he's a little more viable again. I have a lot of friends who really like him. Speaking of specialists, Asmodan, the Taste for Blood talent, which everyone was generally taking at level 1, which basically just really increased the dunk, made him the Asma dunk, has a cap on it.
I apologize. Now we set the cap pretty high. We set it to 500. We actually had That one like spanned 2 or 3 different balance meetings to talk about that cap, I remember. But we wanted to make sure it was still plenty high, so it wasn't really ruining, most of the games. We were just worried about like those 5% games that go way too long, right? To the 30-minute mark. And we were like, oh my gosh, is I was only going to one-shot every hero if it just goes on indefinitely. And so we're just trying to cover those kind of cases there. We don't think this will take effect for most players, but we'll keep an eye on it. If people are hitting the cap pretty frequently and they're hitting it way too early, then we will definitely take it back and raise it if we need to.
Asmodee can no longer wear his specialized Air Jordans. He has to wear normal NBA shoes.
That's basically. It's really just an Arthlon nerf then. Is really what it is.
I don't know who this player is you're speaking.
He's the one that really like kind of showed. He's the player for Tempo Storm. He's the one who really showed it. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Poor
he doesn't know about what you speak.
Oh, yes. I see. Crap. Sorry. I just passed that. I was ready to explain.
You're just really helpful by nature, Gilly. That's what it is. You are.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
He can still listen. 500 is still a ton.
Yes.
Get that early at like 18 minutes or 17 minutes. Like you're still gonna dish out a lot of hurt. Like most people weren't even getting close to 500. Your average player was maybe getting around like 200 by end game. So we tried to set it pretty high to be very generous. We saw the competitive teams that were doing like cool organized play about like help Asmodee and Farmer. Like we thought that was cool. We just wanted to like make sure it didn't blow out of proportion and become you can play Asmodee just to farm queue. Like we want to cover 2 cases. So we hope this is a happy number. We can always tune it up or down if we need to.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
I approve.
We think it gives us a knob if we need it in the future. So
Jaina, we talked about that a bit. She got the arcane power talent, but also all of her basic abilities, the damage went up, which
5%
is awesome.
across the board.
Yes, she's awesome now. She can burst down people, especially since they all kind of build off of each other, which is super cool. I'm very happy about that.
Big change is that her stuff can finally hit grave golems and structures.
So she can, that just helps her do the extra damage.
I apologize for all those who haven't had it for so long. I was the one who originally held it back. I was like, she's not a siege hero. And then playing it a bunch and getting more feedback. I was like, no, we need to change this. I was like, yeah, my bad.
I love how she feels like such a glass cannon. I really like it. How delicate she feels.
That's
and
really what we wanted to push with her. We wanted her to be our burstiest character. So like we looked at Nova's top burst damage and like, no, higher. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've been playing a ton of Jaina now. It just feels awesome. Where I can't get Sylvanas, I'm definitely having a blast with Jaina.
It's okay. We can Jaina and Sylvanas together.
Let's do it. Murky.
Yes.
Oh, so his health regeneration was increased.
Yes, 4%. Is 4% of his health at every level. That's huge.
It is huge, and regen on him is good because, of course, he has less health overall. He has a new talent that gives him more ability power. His egg no longer grants experience to the enemy team when they kill him, and pufferfish, the casting time is reduced by 75%, which is huge.
Ooh, yeah.
We almost put in the note it's instant, but it's not truly instant. There's like a small animation delay, and so we're like, okay, we'll put in the number.
That's a big difference just in the feeling of playing Murky, even because he already, is kind of this like squishy little baby, and he runs around, and then when you throw out a bomb and it's like everyone runs away and your bomb just goes off and it's like, I'm not viable, so like I think it will give morale to Murky players.
Yeah, the long animation time was back from when originally that thing used to hit structures for 4x damage. And we're like, oh, this is going to be mostly used against structures. Go ahead. Because like the artist was like, hey, can we do a cool animation? I was like, yeah, have half a second. That's fine. And we changed gears on it, and we never changed that animation time. And so
I see.
Our bad. And so we got that updated. We're like, oh, wait, you're going to use a pufferfish for enemy heroes almost all the time now. So we need to come out instantly.
Got it.
I actually had a lot of fun in my Murky Grind. I know people were like, no, why Murky Free Week? But thank you for Murky Free Week.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Can we say, like, this is the official Eye on the Storm thank you message to Blizzard for Murky Free Week? Because we've been doing the hashtag grind to 5 since the game started. And Murky has been both of our, like, we need a Murky Free Week because we just need to finish him. And actually, it was very timely because we both played him, both actually really enjoyed him a lot more than we thought we were going to, and then he got this cool buff. So we're very much on a Murky parade high right now. Like, we're okay with Eye on the Storm's okay with Murky.
Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but before this buff,
you're gonna toot your own horn.
I'm gonna toot my own horn. I got Hero of the Storm on Murky before this buff. That's not dying and killing 20 people. Wow.
I had a really good damage contribution too.
Yeah. Oh, your siege.
Yeah.
His siege damage can get ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that slime pufferfish combo can just take out like an entire wave. And if you get like compressed air for the big one, it's just like
so perhaps we shall see the debut of Murky. It's his coming out party. We should have a debutante ball for him.
I remember I sat down with the library like, okay, like let's just make it so that your allies don't hate you the second you pick.
Yeah, that's all you need.
It was.
One of my other designers said like picking Murky in Hero League is like taking a gun out and putting it on the table. It's like whatever you want, man, just don't pick Murky. You know, it's like, I'm like, oh, that's not what we wanted for him. My poor little. And so
we had a couple...
and we don't know if this will be enough. Like we're standing at the ready to throw more buffs and quality of life changes at well, actually we want to do quality of life changes anyways, but we might do some more talent adjustments and buffs to him to bring him up. Like I know actually like we're looking right now at we're asking questions, and I know people are gonna hate that I'm saying this, but like we're asking like should he really have Envenom in Blood for Blood? And clairvoyance. I mean, you shouldn't have clairvoyance, but should he have super burst high damage of Envenom and Blood for Blood, or should we give him more talents that play into the fact that we want you to respawn a lot? And so I'm not gonna say we're done with Murky, but I don't know when more changes will come in, but we do want we're gonna keep an eye on the little Murloc. The first step was like, all right, let's make it so people don't hate it when you pick him.
Right.
Yeah. I think people are very appreciative of that. I have a couple of really good friends who love playing Murky, and they're appreciative.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is kind of a higher level, like floating above Murky kind of question, but I was thinking with Murky how it seems like Heroes of the Storm is really committed to making heroes that are very distinct and very different and don't necessarily like conform to the typical genre, or the typical way that you would classify heroes. And so I've always been in sports that are not subjective, like they're very judged or something like that, and so I'm really comfortable with the idea that you can't compare apples and oranges, and that sometimes that just means that like you're never going to figure out how to make them play well together. And so for me it seems like that's a really difficult thing as when you're looking at game balance, where it's like this hero is nothing like any other hero we have. How do we make him play well with the other heroes? So how often do you guys have to say, okay, we made this too different, we have to make it more like an actual specialist or more like a typical warrior? Do you ever do that? Or
I think actually Avatar and Lost Vikings have been relatively successful in that regard. Like they play very different.
Yeah.
I think Avatar was proof to us we can do it. And it was proof to more importantly, it was proof to our community that we can do it. And I was amazed. Thank you, community, how much you all rallied behind us after we did Avatar. We're like, yeah, we love this. This is great. This is weird.
Yeah.
Like, sweet. We'll do more.
Yeah.
So Murky was step 2, and I was like, ooh. All right, we won't do backdoor spawning. That's bad.
Yeah.
Let's kid him towards just Wile E. Coyote, like death flopping into the enemy heroes' arms. And then Lost Vikings was just like, oh, let's give the StarCraft 2 players a hero.
Yeah.
And we have more coming, but
yes.
It's more of a challenge for Murky because he breaks the rules. He breaks fundamental rules that are way ingrained deep into like the core systems of the game. The death timer. That's a number we have to be very sensitive with, and so we have to be careful with what we do about it. It's like why we, in that one patch, we had like the reveal when he killed him. Like he's probably had the most iteration post-ship than any other hero, and I think he will continue to because he's such an oddball.
Well, he's just a little baby. He's growing up.
So cute.
He's growing up.
Yeah, he's got growing pains. He's gonna go through a growth spurt.
Oh man, you just remind me of the talent we didn't get in on him. Bad. You said that growing pains. That reminded me. Oh. I gotta email my work email. Make sure we get that in there.
To be continued then on that.
Oh, that one was good. Okay, I gotta make sure this gets in.
All right. Well, while you are thinking on that, we'll talk about Nazebo.
Yeah.
So a level 16 talent of his specialized toxin, which did a lot of damage. The damage from that has been reduced.
Oops.
Yeah. Gargantuan, its damage has been increased. The
Yeah,
AI.
George.
George
You
the
call him
Gargantuan.
George?
Yeah,
Oh,
George
'cause
got some
amazing.
much needed loving. I think the pick rates on those two heroics are pretty lopsided, but yeah, we actually John Hodgson did spearheaded that one. He's a huge Nazebo fan, and so he spearheaded making George a lot better. And so we still wanted to make sure George was different from like Water Elemental and Ultralisk and all that jazz. And so we moved the stomp ability for the Gargantuan be on the R key. So now the Nazebo player is like really watching George to see where he's going and then pressing the R button. And George just hits like a truck. Oh my goodness. Watch out. Like I don't think people realize how badly he's going to hurt.
Well, I think we'll also see him a lot more because his damage is increased and the AI is improved, but then also the Ravenous Spirit area of effect has been
that might
reduced
have
by
a slight
25%.
effect on that. Yeah, it was like way outside the art bounds on that one.
I think everyone's like,
yeah,
thank you.
I haven't heard any complaints about that one. Surprised.
No. Nope. And speaking of giant monster type things, Stitches. Continuing the changes to Stitches that we saw some of with last patch, his scaling health has been reduced, and Pulverize, which is talent that a lot of people generally take, it no longer allows
Anti-Nazebo talent.
What?
The anti-Nazebo talent.
Yeah, the anti-Nazebo. It no longer allows Slam to stun, and then I put in parentheses, and thus interrupt, because people were using it as basically anti-Nazebo.
Yeah, it was anti-strafe, anti-Nazebo, anti-poor Lily's Jug of 1,000 Cups. Yeah.
And it's so easy to throw out that Slam and to hit with it, especially if you take
if you got
the
that
Slam. Slam.
It's a skill shot, let me tell you.
Just sort of turn the way.
We've been trying to remove some of the hard CC on, that talents were giving. I know we still have it in a few places. I think we actually just put it out on Falstad, but that's just at least on one target, and he has to like auto attack that target, I think. But we're trying to be careful about where how we're still, the talent system is something we're still like grokking fully mentally, like how much power should each tier give out and that kind of stuff. And so we're going to continue to evaluate it and figure out what's going on. And that was part of that fix. Was like, well, that should be changed to the mega slow that we've started to do on various talents. Yeah,
we've noticed that too with like the change in the Earthbind totem as well and stuff like that. So you can definitely tell that that's.
And Chin's pressure point as well.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. I think
go ahead.
One thing I wanted to mention on this too is that we talked last week about the preemptive blog that came out talking about some of these challenges.
Yeah.
And so when we saw these Stitches changes, I especially, because I had been playing a lot of Stitches, was really happy to kind of understand the reasoning behind them, where it was like, we really want you to focus on that hook. We don't want you to have so many things to think about with Stitches, and we really want to make him kind of focused. And so I felt a little more excited about those changes than I would have if it was like, oh no, I feel so squishy all of a sudden. Yeah, exactly.
What, you're not happy with that? I don't understand. Yeah. So that's something we're definitely trying to like feel as like is get a lot more communication out to the community and telegraph our changes so they don't take you by surprise. But like, hey, here's some problems we've identified. We're going to be taking a look at this in the upcoming patch. Yeah,
that was awesome. Sorry, I interrupted you, Gilly. Should we move on?
No, that's fine. No worries. Thrall's self-healing goes up, but the mana cost of Chain Lightning and Wind Fury are increased, sort of to kind of mitigate that a little bit. He's always had that self-healing, and he had it, and then I think it was like moved down, and so now it's going back up again, just trying to find the happy medium.
Yeah, we're trying to find that spot. I think what we wanted to do is make him a little bit more survivable. I think he was getting blown up a little bit too quickly with the nerfs to the heal. Bring some of that back. I know we were some of the Chain Lightning changes. The non-mana one there was basically an accidental nerf. Our bad, sorry. But we'd forgotten that one had slipped in there. So we wanted to revert that, and then we wanted to try to in beefing him up, we wanted to add a little bit more skill to Thrall, and so we thought mana management would be a good way to tackle that as well.
Awesome.
And we'll be taking a look and see how Thrall's doing after this patch.
Yeah.
And another one, Sharonda. A lot of her talents got moved around, and significantly True Shot Aura got moved from level 7 to 16, which is a big.
We did.
And then also, just the radius of her stun Lunar Flare was increased by 20%, which used to be a talent, and now is sort of like just an addition, which I assume is
did as much as the talent was doing, because the talent made it pretty easy to
huge.
And so we want to get some of that in baseline, because we think before the talent it was just like, oh, this is like impossible to hit. And so we think we found a pretty happy ground in there. We did want to bring that in baseline. Yeah, she had a couple tiers where it was just like super lopsided pick rates, and we're like, okay,
right. I assumed that was why because that one was almost always taken.
And then with True Shot Aura, it's like, oh, it's giving attack speed and damage. Like they actually stack with each other like multiplicatively, and so it's like can we just focus this in? And plus, when you start to adjust other characters' attack speeds, it can do things that weren't intended for that hero. Illidan. And so we wanted to really, first of all, hone it in onto either one of those stats. I think we decided to do damage for True Shot Aura, harking back to Warcraft 3, and attack speed's a little scarier. But then we can make it a bigger bonus in addition to moving it back to a later tier where it would make sense giving its power level. So.
Yeah, the movement made total sense for me, and I was really, really happy about it.
Yeah, it's not an auto pick anymore.
Yeah, and then kind of moving up the talents around her, heal's gotten a little bit better from what I've seen too.
I think we increased the cooldown by 25%, but then also increased the heal impact by 25%.
Yeah.
So it's the same total healing throughput, but it's a little bit burstier, which is a huge boon for healers to have more bursty heals. We also buffed Overflowing Light, which is one of the talents. We completely changed the direction on it basically, but made it way amazing. So if you need to be healer Tyrande, I think that's actually a role you can do now. Like you can do much more. You're going to give up a lot of damage, but it's something you can actually do now. Like we really wanted to, in looking at Tyrande, make sure that she had a couple different builds that were interesting. And so there's definitely auto attack Tyrande just got even better.
Yeah,
Which,
that one too.
By the way, it takes people by surprise. You just like, oh, I have a bow too. I don't know if you noticed. Not just and Vala. But you can just murder people with the Huntress's Fury and Searing attacks comboing off each other. But we also really wanted to make sure that she could still heal a little bit better, because she was definitely getting the vibe of like, I can't solo heal, and so we wanted to try to address that a little bit, but still keeping the fantasy of she's hybridy. You're gonna pay a little bit of a support tax because you got some pretty.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think a lot of people saw Tyrande changes and freaked out because she was so prevalent. But at the same time, now it's become where her healing could be better, or her damage can be insane too. And so an
interesting decision for the player.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm totally on board there.
Yeah, we were talking a lot because Gilly and I have been casting the Heroes Hype Amateur series, and we're seeing almost across the board kind of that 1.5 healer build as we would call it, the
Tassadar or Tyrande as your off healer.
Exactly.
With Rhaegar and Rhaegar.
Yeah. So it's cool to see options with the supports.
Too soon.
Yeah.
But I know that you guys were kind of looking at that too and saying like, if you want to pick a 2 support build, we want you to be able to do that, but we don't want you to have to. Yeah. So I'm excited to see some of those support changes happening.
Yeah.
It's starting to.
We're still figuring out what that's going to be. So.
Yeah. I like the idea that
we're set very gingerly around this topic because we want to let double healer be a team. We just want it to also have counterplay.
Exactly. I like that idea a lot more than just we're just going to nerf this and then people won't do it anymore. So that's cool.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, because I really enjoy dual support play. Like I have a lot of fun doing it. So, but I like not having to as well. So I think that's a good.
Yeah, we want it to be an option, not mandatory.
Not a necessity, Speaking of supports, I'm actually going to skip Uther. Let's leave him for last.
Okay.
Because he's going to take a little bit more time. We'll quickly talk about Vala and Zeratul. Vala, battle momentum was removed. I think a collective cry of sadness from Vala players happened. But she is still very viable, guys. And I like that it had an effect in that more builds besides just straight up multi-shot are now a thing too.
It's actually funny, I tried the multi-shot build, I would face plant with it every time, but if I stuck to my auto attack build, I would actually do way better.
Yeah.
But that was our live guys looking at what way they could do to increase build diversity and also bring down Vala's power just a little bit. She was just a little too high for the win rates.
Yeah.
So they looked at Battle Moment and realized, this is just it's bringing everything back online way too quickly. We need to shuffle that around.
Yeah, especially with like if you would take Strafe. But something that I also liked that I forgot to put on here is that Vault also is now, you're not invulnerable when you have Vaults.
Oh, you're not unstoppable.
Or unstoppable, yeah. When
That
you've
was
got
a complete error on our part that ever got like that to begin with.
that she was unstoppable.
Yeah, that was never supposed to be.
Oh, okay. So here's been my my experience and my feeling towards this is that the more damage you do, the squishier you should be. And it felt like she was doing more damage than Jaina, but yet had this amazing escape that Jaina didn't have. And so I love now that she's not unstoppable. And if she's going to do, more damage with like the auto attack build, then you've got to really watch your placement a lot more, just like you have to do with Jaina. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Yeah, we sat down and we wanted to look at what's the AoE burst damage that Jaina can bring to the table and how much can Vala bring to the table. Jaina should bring more because she's a mage.
Right.
And then what's the sustained damage that Jaina can bring and Vala can bring? Because Vala should bring more, but not a whole lot more because she's got an escape. That's huge, right? And so, and I don't think we're done here. And I think we'll have more changes coming down the line for Vala, and we'll see what they are. But her pick rates, I think, around 100% in Hero League. That's not true. Oh no, I played some Team League games earlier, and I didn't see your picks. Those weren't Hero League games.
A rarity.
But we'll be continually, watching the numbers. We don't want to completely nerf her into oblivion. We love Vala. She's a great hero, but we just want to make sure other, ranged assassins like Falstad and Raynor and Tychus, get to see play, and Jaina as well. But she's so different. So.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super appreciative. I've been talking about, Jaina versus Vala a lot and stuff, and it warms my heart to know that I was kind of in line a little bit with where the changes went. I was like, yes, I understand things. I was really happy.
All right, let's revisit Uther, this guy. Before
we have Zeratul. Last one, Zeratul, then Uther. So Zeratul, just that his double bombs, when you take that talent for Singularity Spike, the second bomb now deals only 50% of the normal damage. So a little bit of a change considering the fact that you can get rewind with him.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a damage nerf to him. This was actually, my apologies to the community, this was supposed to go out the patch before when we shuffled up the cleave talents as well. We were looking at the cleave talents and wait, why are we giving him 50% power at 7 and 30% at 13? Those should just switch. Or 16, and we're looking at it and double bond should probably come down to 50% in order to actually be on level ground with the cleave. And that one just didn't quite. I think we missed it by a day, the cutoff.
Oh, bummer.
And so we're he's gonna have full double bombs and rewind.
Good luck with that, community. See you.
And it wasn't really. It's not broken. Quick, get it in. So. Yeah, that should just, it was more just about talent diversity. I mean, if his win rate plummets as a result, which I don't think it will, we have knobs we can do to bring it back up. So.
Okay, cool. Well, then Uther's the last one, and then we're going to go to our play session, guys. Uther was a significant talent rework for this patch.
Yes, it was.
He was, and he got a lot of new talents that actually make him tankier. So we got block and amplified healing, which are just kind of, I think, adding to the options for him, which I think is really neat and something that we're seeing with other healers or other supports as well. And he also had sprint removed. I think a lot of people were taking that sprint to try to Divine Storm.
Oh, that's what they were. That's exactly why he removed it.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. And speaking of Divine Storm, the level 20 talent for that, the Divine Hurricane, the radius of it is now only 50% bigger instead of 100%.
Does it hit the entire screen?
Yeah.
It just hits 80% of the screen.
Thanks.
Yeah, keeping AoE stuns are kind of strong. Who knew?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things, of course, that people notice is that the ghost forms changed so that he no longer has the basic abilities. Instead has one heal that's on a very short cooldown. So no longer can you stun as a ghost that nobody can stop.
Yeah, that was, there's a couple problems with it, some of which I actually can't even go into. Fun feature stuff. But there was just some problems where, basically, if you instantly blew up the Uther, then he's just going to run in and get the perfect Divine Storm, and you can't do anything about it. We're like, well, what? Not what we designed the trait to do at all. Can we change this? And so, yeah, we want, he's a healer. We wanted to make him a healer. And so that was the Divine Storm and Hammer of Justice. We're definitely kind of motivating the changes for changing the ghost. Overall, we we felt like like probably the best and most popular build for Uther was just pick the generic talent at every single tier. And I think at tier 13 he only had like generic talents. Like, okay, can we spice up his tree a little bit? Actually, one of our senior designers, Hugh Shelton, actually spearheaded this design, and he's so happy to see this work out there finally. He did a lot of the rework and trying to make sure that every tier had a lot of different viable options. And we really did want to play up like, hey, Uther is definitely like 75% support, maybe 60%, and then like 25 or 30 or 40% tank.
Yeah.
He is your frontline support. He can be your half tank, beefcake. And so he wanted to really work on the talent tree to make sure that those players that wanted to play more tanky Uther or more warrior Uther could find talents that did that for them. And so, and we'll keep an eye on it and see how these new ones are doing.
Yeah, you guys should definitely check out all of his new talents because they're really cool. One of the biggest ones, well, there's been Addiction, which is kind of like Rewind but backwards because you activate it and then the next basic ability.
Yeah, it's Rewind but backwards. It's like forward wind.
Yeah, forward wind, exactly. Then after you activate it, the next basic ability's mana cost and cooldown are significantly reduced. So I've been using it like you hit it and then you can stun and then stun again, which is cool. Or you hit it and then you can heal and then automatically Holy Light again. So it's really cool. You have to be proactive with what you're going to use it with and think about it.
Yeah, we thought it was, I think Hugh actually designed that one. He's like, yeah, I think this is a much more interesting rewind than just stun, double stun. And by the way, double heal and double holy radiance. They're like, oh wow, that's a lot. But this gives you options and gives you interesting choices that you can make tactically. So.
And then of course here resurgence of the Uther. Just kidding. It's redemption. It's really cool. It's a level 20 talent for him, of course. And basically what happens is if the cooldown's up, if you die, and then you become your ghost. Once you're done with ghost, you actually come back to wherever your ghost is with 50% health.
That's powerful.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. And maybe it was a mistake. I don't think so. I mean, we play tested a lot. It didn't feel like it was gonna break games. You can't run 5 of them on your team, so we don't have that problem. We think.
I feel like part of the problem was that it was on tanks. Yeah, before.
I mean, Uther's kind of part tank, so maybe it's a problem there. But we think it's a really interesting, flavorful hit for the trait. Yeah, we like the fantasy of it. We'll see. I mean, I don't think it's going to break the game, but, we've thought dumber things. So we'll see what happens.
I was going to ask... Cool. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's cool that you guys are willing to, still try different things and see how they will work in that regard.
We definitely, we don't see this as a static game that once we're released, and that's it. This is a game that we constantly want to keep evolving and pushing the boundaries on. And so we don't really want the perception to be like, hey, this is Heroes of the Storm. It's this little box. It's a fun box. Come sit inside it, and it's going to be like that. Like, no. Heroes of the Storm is going to keep, we want to keep pushing the boundaries. We're going to keep trying things. We're going to stress test every boundary of this genre and see, what are all awesome things we can do with it. And so we're not, as designers, we're never going to get comfortable with the game. We're going to always be like, what if we did? Hey, this has been kind of weird. This was a rule we've always built the game around, assuming that blank. What if we broke it? Is it fun? It's interesting, cool, but is it fun? Oh, it's not. Okay, no, not do that. But ooh. And so we're gonna keep stressing and see what we can do. And so,
on that note, I was curious because it seems like, we started with these different types of heroes we can have: warrior, specialist, assassin, support. But we're seeing so many where we're openly saying, like Uther, for example, you said he's 60% support and maybe 40% warrior. Do you think that those classifications will morph, or was that always kind of the intention that it's only a very basic categorization?
Nebulous.
Yeah.
It's a little nebulous. We find it gives us some wins here and there. We've had internal discussions over reclassifying them. I'm not going to say what happened to those discussions or where they're going. Definitely as a tool in our pocket, we think it helps kind of guide the process for when a player a new hero came out. Oh, what is he? Oh, he's a warrior. He's assassin. He's a specialist. Ooh. It kind of clues in where the design, what the intent is of the hero. So it definitely gives us some wins there. We definitely brush up with it with heroes like Tyrande, who are half and half. Or Sylvanas, we like to joke she specializes in assassinating people.
Yeah.
We definitely are skirting, and Murky too, actually. He's really mostly assassin as well. He's just so weird. So we'll keep an eye on those labels, and if we do something, we'll do something. But we think that we're getting a lot of mileage out of them right now. But we don't take almost anything in this game as like sacred cows that can't be touched. We are willing to look at everything and be like, what do we think about this?
Well, that seems to be the theme, which we love.
Cool. Well, we got cool stuff coming for you.
I believe
awesome.
it.
So.
Well, I think that wraps up our patch review. There, like we said, there was so much, and sorry, we're going to go a little late tonight, but we hope you don't mind, because next up we have a play session. As always, we also will have time for your questions. So be sure, if you want us to ask questions, tweet them with the hashtag Storm Show. And Gilly, who's going to be in our play session?
We actually, for our team, in addition to myself and Kent-Erik, we'll be having Defebor, Kyberries, and Sahara.
Nice.
And then the enemy team, actually, pretty cool, is going to be Goat Gaming, which was the team who won the Heroes Hype Amateur Series yesterday.
Ooh, exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to be playing a game on Tomb of the Spider Queen as well.
Yes. What did you go?
Are we
Totspa?
tryharding this? I was not informed of this.
Probably as much as we can, because the other team won a tournament yesterday. Yeah.
So we are actually, we're upping our production value. We're going to try really hard not to take the stream down and go dark this time. So we'll see if we can make that work. If the stream does go dark, though, that's normal. We'll be right back. We'll bring you that play session. So don't go away, and we'll see you in just a moment.